Hi, my name's Bill Meier, and I'm the CEO of Kingdom Workers, and I'm here with my coworker, James Garrison. He is our Director of Finance and HR.
Hi, Bill. Morning.
Yeah, good morning. And I'm grateful that we've got a couple minutes here just to talk about you and your work. And uh, well, you're a guy that's behind the scenes here at Kingdom Workers, so not a lot of our constituents, our volunteers and donors know who you are, so they're about to find out. So thanks for joining me, James.
Well, absolutely.
I just want to start out giving you an opportunity, James, to just tell us all a little bit about you, your background and your family and those types of things.
Yeah, well, as you said, I'm the director of finance here. I've got some history having done similar work at other nonprofits, and so that's kind of my work history, but maybe a little more specific to me. I live here in southern central Wisconsin, about a little ways from our office, but with my wife and four kids. We have a young family. I've got a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old, and 3-year-old twins, so we are busy. My wife is a dentist, so she's busy. She owns her own practice and, makes people love the dentist a little more every day, I think. So we like being outside with the family. We like trying to do trips and enjoying, being in the woods if we can. But my kids are still pretty young, so we don't go too far afield. But yeah, we've settled in well where we are, and we just really enjoy doing stuff as a family. I like out being outside. I was an adventure guide for a while. I was a rock climber. I did lots of kind of that semi-risky, adventure type stuff, like sailing and doing things of that nature. And I look forward to being able to do that with my family as the kids get old enough. We're starting to get there, so that's very nice. Yeah, I don't know. I think those are the things that summarize me right now. But like I said, with a young family, there's not a lot of depth. It's a lot of pay attention to them, raise them up well, and look forward to the times when we really get to do the adventuring together.
Cool. I wanted to ask you to talk a little bit about something that you and Brenda did many years ago, but a dental mission trip to Zambia. I think that was your first opportunity, at least as a couple, to go do something like that overseas, right? And so just share a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, that was a really great experience. I would say it's probably a little bit unfair to Brenda to say that we did a dental trip. I mean, the intent was I was supposed to do things and help out, but when we got there on the ground at the medical clinic in Mumbai, there wasn't much ready for me. So I did everything I could to try to assist Brenda in doing the good work she was doing, pulling teeth and trying to help people. It was an eye opener for both of us, not just because we hadn't traveled to that part of the world before, but just the difference in accessibility and just the technical capability. Brenda as a dentist, she's used to having all of the high technology tools, that she can use to try to, treat patients as effectively and as quickly and as painlessly as possible. And we were just amazed the amount of more kind of manual, less technical stuff she had to do. But she was able to see, I don't remember the exact number, but I want to say it was well over 100 individuals. We were there about 3 weeks, with some breaks in between, both in the medical clinic in Mubweji, but also in Lusaka, at the seminary there. And she was able to serve the families there and families out in the bush there. And it was really rewarding for her, but really hard work. She looks forward to doing that again. I love the traveling part, and we would do it a little different, but we do try to serve as many people as we can. And it was just a really nice introduction to the kind of work that can be done that maybe people don't always think about, or at least that someone with specialized skills like Brenda can really fill a different niche than maybe what often people think of when they think about a mission trip of that nature. So it was a very cool experience for us. We were there with a good friend of ours, a good friend of Kingdom Workers, Jason Paltzer, who had lived there and knew the area well. So it was really great to get his perspective. So that was shortly after we got married. So that's 12 years ago now, and it was a really really great introduction into that world for us. So we very much enjoyed that experience.
Yeah, cool. And I just want to add for everybody watching or listening today that Mumbeji is a rural mission station in Zambia. It's a Lutheran mission station, and coincidentally, I lived at Mumbeji in 1997 and 98, so I can envision quite well the work that Brenda with James Help did in and around that clinic, and also at the seminary in Lusaka, Zambia. Yeah, so that was actually my first international mission experience myself, was in Zambia, just like yours. So
Yeah.
that's something we share. Uh, so you've been here with we've been coworkers here at Kingdom Workers now for going on 4 years, correct? Or is it over
Correct.
4 years?
It'll be
Yeah,
4 years in February, so we're coming up on
4 years in February. Yeah, yeah. So just reflect a little bit on Kingdom Workers. Why Kingdom Workers when you first had that opportunity and you said yes to being here with us, and why Kingdom Workers now?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll start a little bit with my history. I had studied for a while to be a pastor and to do ministry, and when I was guiding out in Colorado and in a couple other places in the country, it was, Christian groups, and I really appreciated and enjoyed the mission work aspect and the ministry aspect of the things that I did. Um, Through just the course, the way God leads us, I ended up working at one of our Lutheran high schools and doing similar work to what I do here: finance, HR, operational stuff. And it was great, and I really loved the work, being engaged in ministry, but using the skills. I have a degree in business and human resources and operational policy, and so those things really fit well. When the opportunity for Kingdom Workers came up, it was an extension of that, with some, I think, some personal benefits, but also just ministry wise, it was exciting. It includes an opportunity to travel, which isn't the reason we do it, but it's a nice part of what we do. But also, I think the biggest piece was a broader perspective on ministry. I mean, I valued, and I still value, the local Christian education piece of what I did, and what those schools continue to do, and it's highly valuable. But at the same time, mission-minded people, I think, which I would like to include myself in that group, want to reach others as well. And some of the communities and the places that we access at Kingdom Workers was an extension of that, an expansion of that. And that was very exciting to me. But still within my skill set of operations and planning and supporting all of that work. I mean, I'm not a programs person, but I'm an operations person, and being able to support our people in the field that way was really exciting, and to do it in a lot of different locations, and the challenges that come with that, and the experiences that come with working in different countries and different places in the U.S. and all the pieces that Kingdom Workers includes was very, very interesting to me and very exciting. So it was that was a big part of the reason I came over.
Yeah, well, thanks for being here. So looking a little bit more at your day-to-day work, just with a little commentary from me, that James, you are a high energy man with a high energy family, and for anyone that already knows you, I know being visiting your family is a joyful experience because of all the energy that flows in those four kids, and also you and Brenda. That's where they get it from. And so you bring that same energy here at Kingdom Workers, and I'm really grateful for that. Uh, so, Director of Finance and HR, just briefly, just what does that mean? And then give an example of one or two projects that you just either wrapped up or that you're about to work on.
Yeah, so definition, starting there, I mean, I'll take the finance piece. One of the things I think that people don't always know is part of a nonprofit is we have to run very similar, to other businesses. We have the same kind of requirements. We have audit requirements. We have expense tracking, and that isn't just for our legal requirements, but also because we want to make sure that we are completely transparent for our donors and for anybody who's working alongside us. We don't want them to feel like they don't know whether we're being good with our money and responsible and good stewards of that. So my function really, kind of puts its arms around that entire concept, saying, how do we do this in a way that displays to the outside world or the people that are part of the Kingdom Workers family as donors or as volunteers that we are responsible with what we have, that we do spend it well, and that we can tell you how that happens. That's really the finance function, and there's a lot of pieces that lead into that. But on a broad perspective, that's how the finance function works in Kingdom Workers and in, I think, nonprofits generally. Similarly, with the human resource function, I think often in ministries we think, everybody's there and they want to be there and that's enough. And it is. And welcome that and we embrace that and we love that that's the reason people are here, but we're still human beings and we have to manage things like pay and benefits and what other how do people manage member care, especially for some of our deployed people. All of these things that the human side brings into an organization that we do need to manage, and we need to support people that way. Answer questions. Sometimes they're simple. How does my insurance work? Sometimes they're complicated. How do I manage being deployed for 6, 12 months, 24 months? And that's a big part of what the human resource function does, along with other parts of the organization. It's not solely in my department, but it is a part that we focus on. So those are kind of the things that we do. And in that regard, some of the projects that we've done more recently, it's a little bit dated now, but expense management is a big one. We try to say, how do we get people who have to work in different currencies and different time zones, far separated from the home office, to report transparently what they're spending money on, but how do we make it easy, right? Because they want to focus on programs. How do we make it as easy as we possibly can? So implementing expense management process like that. Same thing, in a human resource context. How do we support them? What resources can we give? How do we make sure that they're healthy? And building out, member care programs around that. Some of that is going to be an ongoing process and continues to be. We always want to improve there. But those are kind of the highlight focuses of what we've done, more recently. And they are continually updated as technology changes, and honestly, as things change in the deployed locations, sometimes we have to be willing to adjust our perspectives and our processes for that. But that's a big part of what I do and try to stay on top of, is to understand what people's on the ground activities look like, and how we try to simplify as much as we can the required deliverables that we have as an organization.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I personally appreciate that, and have seen that, that is one of your priorities, is trying to make everything easier and simpler and as straightforward as possible for everybody. And I appreciate that that's a priority. Uh, James, anything else that you'd like to share about your experience here at Kingdom Workers, or the Kingdom Workers mission, or something that we skipped over too quickly?
No, well, I mean, I'm sorry. I'll say yes, actually. I mean, I think what I would say is that the thing that, as I've worked here for the 4 years I have, and or near 4 years I have, that I've seen is it is really great to work in ministry because you have a lot of dedicated people. But what I really like about my experience at Kingdom Workers has been, we have, I think, done a good job, and we strive to continue to do this, to find not only dedicated people missionally, but people who are very good at what they do. And I think when we do that, we really build a really great team. Doesn't mean we don't always have items we have to continue to work on. There's always places we can improve, but it's been a real joy to work with really highly capable, highly dedicated people. And whether that be in our domestic programs or international programs, whether it be in the operating team, all of those things work together just to say, I know we're working together well, and whenever we have, items that we have to address, we will find a solution, and we will find a good one. Sometimes it takes longer than others. We pull people's opinions in, we ask questions, and it's just a really, I enjoy that it feels very collaborative that way, and that we work to really find excellence in all that we do. And that's just it's a really comforting thing, and it's a thing that I'm proud to be part of. So that's very valuable to me, just personally from a work perspective, but also, I think, from a mission focused perspective, it's a valuable thing to be able to point towards and to tell people about.
Well, thanks. Thanks for sharing that, and thanks for sharing that desire to, and that joy of working with a group of really professional people that are all aligned. We're all aligned around this mission of connecting people to Jesus. So, James, thanks for giving me some time this morning,
Yeah.
and sharing your background and your work here at Kingdom Workers. And for everyone that's out here able to watch this, I'm grateful for James, and I hope you're grateful for his work as well. God bless everybody.
God bless you all.